Hey guys, I'm Rob, this is Pixel Lab, welcome back to the channel. So I just got back from work a few minutes ago and I saw this package waiting for me at the doorstep. So I rushed upstairs real quick, didn't even bother get changing, so I'm still wearing my Canadian tuxedo. And so I decided to open it up on camera just to get my initial reactions of what's inside. Mind you, I do know what I ordered, but it's always nice to see what kind of condition these things come in, because it's not usually described or pictured on the websites that you get them from. As you can probably tell, this one came from Game Traders. It's a video game and kind of collectibles store. Used to specialize a lot in retro games and / video games, but now they've sort of moved on to collectibles more than anything else. Because it is a franchise, some of the stores still do stock retro games here and there. So I was browsing the internet the other day and a listing came up for a game that I really wanted in box. Mind you, I do have this game already, but I do not have it in box, and this is probably my favorite game of all time, and it is actually the game that made me want to buy a Nintendo 64. So there's a little bit of a spoiler for you already. So without any further ado, let's get the X-Acto knife out, cut into it, and see what's inside. And hopefully not lose a finger in the process. Nicely packaged with some nice bubble wrap. Mind you, a lot of bubble wrap. And I will add, however, these are all Nintendo 64 games. So first one in here is, let's just put that aside, get rid of all that. First one I got is nothing spectacular, but it is International Superstar Soccer 64. It only cost me $9, and I actually did get this to round the order up to $200 so I could get free shipping. As shipping would cost me $14, and this game only cost me $9. Not a huge fan of these sports games on the Nintendo 64. To be quite honest with you, not a fan of sports games in general. But like I said, I did only pay $9.95, I think, or $9 for it, just to round off the shipping so I could get free shipping instead of paying $14. So I managed to save myself $4 in the process. So that is that, nothing special there. Next one is pretty good. I played a lot of this when I was a bit younger, and it is 1080 Snowboarding. Haven't played this game in yonks and yonks because I do not possess this game currently, so it is nice to get it back in the collection and play it a little bit and relive the good old days. The other game also got is Turok 2: Seeds of Evil. Great game, great Nintendo 64 title, very brutal, very graphic, very violent. So for kids like me growing up around, what was I, 13, 14 years old when this game came out, it was really cool to sneak this past your parents and play it and brutalize some dinosaurs. And the next game I got is probably one of the best games on the system, even though it is probably one of my least favorite games, and that is Zelda's Majora's Mask. Pretty good condition, all original I would think. I definitely will crack these open to confirm, but it does feel slightly heavier than all the other cartridges, so I am assuming it is all original. It does, however, have some writing here, person's name. If I can make it out upside down, I think it says Joseph. Yes, it is Joseph, because there is some more on the back. Pain in the butt a little bit, but we'll definitely clean that up and yeah, definitely remove it with isopropyl alcohol. Thank God it's only on the plastic and not on the label, because that would be a pain in the butt to remove. So fortunately enough, it is only on a cartridge. But like I said, I've never owned this game previously, because growing up I wasn't a really huge fan of Zelda games. They were just a little bit too complex for me when I was growing up, because mind you, when these games came out I wasn't very old. And I'm sure anyone will tell you who has ever played Majora's Mask, they will tell you that this is probably the hardest bloody Zelda game on the planet, with the moon cycles and all that kind of stuff going around with it, where you have to complete the missions in a certain amount of time. Made this game extra difficult, but nonetheless it is great to have it in the collection. And I also do have Ocarina of Time as well, which is also in the gold cartridge, so it's great to finally get 2 of these. And mind you, well, it wasn't very cheap. I think I paid around $99 for this, so it's not too bad. But as I've been checking on eBay and things like that, they are going for around 100, 120. So pretty much ballpark figure around there. And mind you, well, I didn't have to pay for shipping as well with this, where a lot of the eBay sellers are asking, you know, $5 or $6 shipping. So great to finally get this one as well, and that means my Nintendo 64 collection is growing exponentially, which is great news. I don't think I'll be one of those people who I'll try to get every single Nintendo 64 title ever released, but I will do my best to see how many I can get. And like I said, the final game is, which I do have already, but this is the game. Whoopsies. But this is the game that made me want to buy a Nintendo 64. And that is... Should get my knife. Cut into it real quick without hopefully cutting my finger. And that is probably the best game on the Nintendo 64, and that is GoldenEye 007. Yes, this is the game. When I first saw this at my friend's house, I knew I had to get a Nintendo 64, and I kept bugging my parents for months and months and months and months on end until they finally succumbed and got me and my brother a Nintendo 64 for Christmas. And this was the first game I got, which I still own to this day. But unfortunately, being a stupid kid, I did get rid of all my boxes and stuff like that. So it is finally great to get this one in box and complete, because that is pure nostalgia for me. And the box overall is in pretty good condition. It is slightly dented up in this corner, but I will try to iron it out as best as I can and hopefully get one of those clear plastic protectors for it to keep it as mint as possible. And I do have to say, this box does look actually pretty minty. Minty fresh. No fading, no scratches, no peeling. There's a little bit of wear on the corners, as you'd expect, even just from shelfware you get these kind of wears, so that's great news. Also, GoldenEye probably being my favourite James Bond film of all time too, so that is also probably why I have so much nostalgia for it. However, I can already tell it is however missing a manual, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, because I did actually assume that this was complete, and it is not. So I will have to look at my listing again and maybe even complain. But I will have to look at my listing again and see if it actually didn't mention that it had a manual, because I thought it did. So that's a little bit strange, but that's a investigation for later on. But nonetheless, manuals, I can find them for relatively cheap on eBay, loose manuals. I think about $5 or $6, so it shouldn't be too hard to find one of those if they didn't include it in there, and it should have been, which I will, like I said, investigate further. But it does have the actual cardboard insert as well, and it is original, not a reproduction, because it does have the little indentation here, which is NUS, which is normally what you see if it is an original cardboard sleeve rather than a reproduction, which you can get on eBay as well. So that is great news. And the cartridge itself also pretty good condition. I would have to say my cartridge from my childhood is probably better condition than that, because I did actually take care of my games, unlike some people. So overall, not a bad score. But yeah, I was more interested in just the GoldenEye box itself, because yeah, like I said, this was the game that made me want to buy a Nintendo 64, and it is great to have one of these in box finally back in my collection. So I think that'll do me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, please consider subscribing, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!